Hello everyone, in today's video I will be discussing a few changes I've made with my vehicle as well as with my little brother's vehicle. So with my car, what I've done is I've switched to rubber tires. These tires are really nice. I have another two more sets of rubber tires, but these are the best ones, so I'm using these right now. Also, I have a new receiver which is paired to a new remote as well, and so I have a much smaller antenna, which is great. And yeah, I've changed the suspension settings. The oil has been changed, so the car is a lot more springy, and I've changed the ride height, the camber, as well as suspension in the back, and the droop height, stuff like that. So I've changed a lot on this car as well, on this side as well. And I think there are a few issues with the car right now. First of all, I need to buy some rubber activator. I had a friend who lent me some, so that made the tires quite a bit sticky, as you can hear. They're quite sticky, but still not sticky enough. I'm supposed to buy some for personal use, because I can't rely on my friend all the time. And there are a few problems. So with these, with the shock absorbers in the rear, I'm not too sure why, but they are pretty stiff. Even though I've changed the oil, they're still pretty stiff. If you look at how it jumps, it's not as good as this one. And the front tires are a lot more, the front springs are a lot more springy. They jump up and down a lot faster, which is a bit of a problem because normally you're supposed to have stiffer springs in the front and lighter springs in the back. Reason for that is the lighter the springs, the more grip you get on those tires, and the reason why you want more grip on the rear than on the front is because understeer is a lot better than oversteer. So you don't want the rear to start to kick around and fishtail, because that's a lot worse than having understeer. But I still have to balance it, make sure that there's a good balance between oversteer and understeer, so the car is actually more or less neutral. But yeah, this is the new ESC. It's working just fine. As you can tell, the wires are not really well organized, and yeah, so maybe I'll go over a few components that I have in a later video. As you can tell, I still have this is the stock servo, and it is crap, so I have to change that. Other than that, everything else has been improved. With this car, I have a new ESC and a new motor installed. This motor is a lot smaller than the old one, the old brushed motor, and with this motor the heatsink wasn't really fitting, so I had to bend it, and I also added some thermal compound in between there. I had to make sure that it is non-conductive if you're going to put thermal compound, because you see there's a bit of a gap between it because I bent it not really well, but there's a gap, so I had to fill that gap, otherwise the heat wouldn't transfer. So to fill that gap, I used thermal compound, thermal paste, which was non-conductive. If you're going to do that, make sure it's non-conductive. Also, I just double-sided taped a fan onto here because it's getting quite hot, and yeah, that's basically it. So that's the update. Oh, and actually, here's another update. I added a spoiler to the back of my car. It's a very ghetto type spoiler, but it'll get the job done, because previously the car's shape was such that the air would leave at a pretty bad angle, but now it's more or less straight. If I'd like a more aggressive angle, I can just undo it and make it taller so that the airflow leaves the car at a higher angle. The higher the angle that the air leaves the car at, the more downforce you'll get at the back of the car. So you don't want to have a curve that's like that, because that's bad. You'll have lift, not downforce. So yeah, that's it for today's video. I hope you guys enjoyed this update on these two vehicles. This car also has actually one more problem, which I forgot to mention. It doesn't have toe in. As you can see, the tires are completely parallel. This is really bad. This causes the car to go sideways all the time, which is really bad for touring. They're supposed to be sort of like that. So yeah, I have to change that. I'm going to be buying a spare parts car, I think. So it's like the same car, just kind of messed up and a few broken pieces, but I have a lot of spare parts there which I can salvage, and for a very cheap price. So yeah, I hope you guys enjoyed this video, and I'll see you guys in the next one.